The vice presidential debate is later on this evening. Why is there so little talk about it in the media? Also, Trump pulling ahead of Hillary. Hillary pulling out of Ohio? I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Hillary Clinton in this election cycle is in trouble. She is in deep trouble. Don't let anyone kid you. Please remember this. Donald Trump, whatever you think about him, whatever you think about Hillary, here's just the simple facts on the ground. Donald Trump is running against the Democratic candidate and the Democrat machine. He's running against much of the Republican machine. He's running against the political class in Washington, D.C. I know some of these people. They're doing everything in their power to stop Donald Trump from getting the White House. And he's running against the mainstream media. And yet, Rasmussen this morning has Hillary and Trump dead even. But it's more important than that. I keep telling you on this program, and I hope and I pray that you are telling your friends, okay? I hope and I pray that you are being emboldened to speak the truth, because the truth is this: the national polls don't matter. I finally saw in one of the mainstream internet dispersers of news, I finally saw someone say what I've been telling you for months: Trump can lose the general election. Trump can lose the popular vote and win the White House with the Electoral College. How many electoral votes does it take to win? 270. Put that image up for me. You see that map? That shows Trump as the next president of the United States. And Hillary could still win the popular vote because of a preponderance of votes for her in California and in New York and in a couple of other liberal states. So don't kid yourself for a minute that these national polls mean anything. The national press continues on doing these national polls, not focusing on the state polls, because they want to demoralize the Trump possible voters, and they want to suppress the volunteer hours of the possible Trump volunteers, and they want to suppress the amount of donations that someone gives. I've run for office many times, and I've worked on many campaigns, and I've raised literally millions of dollars in various political cycles. And people don't want to give to someone who's going to lose. If it's a horse race, if it's close, they're interested in giving. But if it's not close, they're not going to give. And so the national press ignores the Los Angeles Times daily polls, which show Clinton losing to Trump by 5 points on the national election. They ignore the Rasmussen poll, which showed Trump ahead, then Hillary ahead, now both of them dead even again. And perhaps most importantly, they're ignoring the state polls until, oh my goodness, a couple of days ago, the New York Times said something unbelievable. In effect, what they said was that Ohio doesn't matter anymore. Ohio used to be a bellwether state. Ohio used to be critical. Trump was losing in the must-win state of Ohio. And now that Trump is pulling ahead in Ohio, Ohio doesn't matter that much. This is disgusting and despicable. All right, I'm going to take a break. I want to have a long segment coming up because I want to talk to you about a couple critical things. Number one, we had an incident at church on Saturday night. My wife and I did, and I want to tell you about it because I want to encourage you, all right? This is hot off the press on a very personal level. I want to talk to you about how despicable and hypocritical the media is, the national press, but in specific, okay? And I want to also ask you for your prayers because we're considering going on the road to try and impact a swing state or two, all right? Plus, we've got a man who's really funny His name is Alfonso with a Z, and so he has this little, is it online or is it, all right, he's got an online program called the Zoe Loft. And I saw it for the first time this morning. I said, man, let's give that guy some airtime because he is funny. He's African American and he's funny and he is maniacally against Clinton and kind of tolerates Trump. It's funny. You're going to want to watch it. And by the way, again, tonight, later on after my show is over, you will have a chance to watch the vice presidential debate. Why are they not talking about it very much? Let me tell you. Because Pence is going to look presidential and Kaine is going to look like a Boy Scout. He just is. I had to stop myself before I said things that... I like Boy Scouts and I like most Boy Scout leaders. I don't want them to be the next vice president of the United States. Pence has extensive experience in Congress and as a chief executive, as a governor. And if you want to have Kaine one heartbeat away from the vice presidency, or you want to have Pence one heartbeat away from the presidency, who do you think would be a better president? It's Pence. And Pence is going to win this debate. And everyone in the press knows it, so they're not doing the big drum roll. Don't you remember how huge the drum roll was with the Sarah Palin, Joe Biden debates? Because they were hoping that Biden would just clean Sarah Palin's clock, and they hated Palin. Well, there's too much respect out there for Pence, and there is not enough respect for Kaine. So they're just kind of ignoring it. Watch it. It's going to be a big deal. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. We've got a lot coming up. Don't go away. If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you. Through my fault, through my most grievous fault, most older denominations, beginning with Catholicism, Orthodoxy, Episcopalianism, Anglicanism, Antiochianism, Methodism, Lutheranism, and some derivatives thereof, begin their gathering together to celebrate the Lord's table or to come together in a church service to hear the preaching of God's word. They will have some type of confession of sin that everyone in the church does together. And there is a phrase that is in almost all of them, and it is this: I confess to Almighty God and to you, my brothers and sisters, that I have sinned in my thoughts, in my words, in what I have done, and in what I have failed to do. Now, those 4 items are all anchored in various passages in the Bible, okay? We don't have to go into them right now, except for the last one. I want to go to that one. In what I have failed to do. The Apostle James wrote, to him who knows to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So if I'm standing there and a 10-year-old boy is beating a 3-year-old boy or a 3-year-old girl to death, and I have it in my power to stop him, and I don't, I have sinned against the 3-year-old because of what I failed to do. The Apostle John said, if you see somebody hungry and thirsty and you don't feed them, how does the love of God dwell in you? Jesus said, I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was thirsty and you didn't give me a drink. Now you can go to hell. You can be with the goats and you can go to hell and with the devil and his angels. These are the sins of omission, what I have failed to do. And the sins of omission are the ones that are destroying America. I mean, don't get me wrong. People pushing for the murder babies and for same-gender matrimony and for the trying to strip our ability to defend ourselves and kowtowing to Islamic terrorism and refusing to acknowledge the inherent threat that Islam is to human freedom, failing to stand up and to cry out for our brothers and sisters in Christ in Islamic lands that are being persecuted and murdered and raped and sold as slaves. I mean, the piling on of these sins of omission is significant. And these sins of omission include, those are big picture, those are epic, but they also include our failure to speak up in the microcosm. And I was confronted, my wife was confronted this past Saturday with an option, a choice to commit a sin of omission. And you know, the sins of omission tend to be spurred on by fear or the love of self. If I say something, I'm going to get in trouble. If I say something, I'm going to alienate people. If I say something, I might lose my job. If I say something, my parents might disinherit me, or my in-laws might tell me not to come. I mean, do the math, right? The love of self, the fear of man. Those tend to propel the sins of omission. So we're in church Saturday night, and I am playing for the service, all right? And it's a Catholic Mass. And at the altar, we're up front playing, a couple of my boys are playing, and we're playing it. And I look across the building, and one of the people serving at the altar was a woman in her 60s, and she had on a t-shirt, "Uncle Sam wants you to vote for Hillary." I kept looking at it to make sure that I was right. And then I thought, oh my goodness, Hillary's a baby killer. Hillary promotes the murder of God's innocent babies. Hillary has blood on her hands. And this woman dared to wear a t-shirt at the altar. It's like desecrating the altar. Such disrespect for the body and blood of Christ. Such disrespect for the innocent babies that have died at Hillary's hands. Disrespect for the Lord's table. I said, when church is over, I know exactly what I'm doing. So church was over, I was gathering up the music, and meanwhile the lady comes out and is going down the aisle, and I look to my right, and there's my wife in total confrontation with this woman. How dare you wear that t-shirt while you are serving at the altar? Hillary is a baby killer. The woman saying, this is not the time and place to talk about it. Yes, it is. You're the one who wore the t-shirt. So the woman finally broke free just as I was getting there, and I made a commitment in my brain that I was going to talk to her loud enough so that everyone around us could hear it. So I went to her and I said, Hillary Clinton is a baby killer. She has blood on her hands. If you vote for her, it is a sin against God. You will have blood on your hands. And she's going like this and walking out, won't stop, won't listen. We get into the foyer. The assistant pastor is standing there. And I say, this is the exact problem. This is exactly what we're talking about. This woman has that t-shirt on at the altar. Hillary Clinton is a baby killer. She has blood on her hands. And he's going like this. I said, no, I won't be quiet. So she keeps going, goes out the door. Now there's people outside. And I'm saying, Hillary Clinton is a baby killer. It is a sin against God. It is a sin against the babies to vote for her. If you vote for her, you will have blood on your hands. Oh, Randall, those are strong words. You know what? Teddy Roosevelt said, the credit doesn't go to the person who sits on the sideline and does nothing. Credit goes to the person who's in the arena, covered with blood, covered with mud, who tries, maybe he fails. So, did we do the exact right thing? Did we say the exact right thing? I'll let God sort that out. But I like the way my wife did it better than the way that other people in the church said nothing, because everyone saw it who was paying attention. All right? And this is what I'm talking about. We had a choice. Every person in that room had a choice to say something or to not say something. To sin by silence, to have the sin of omission. Now, I was enraged. So then I thought, let me go to the next thing. I thought, okay, what do we do? What do we do? I've traveled to many states. I've been to every state in the Union. And I thought, we need to go ahead and try and put together a team to go to one or two of the swing states and distribute literature to Catholic and to Protestant churches saying, in effect, If you vote for Hillary, it's a sin against God and you're sinning against innocent blood. You're sinning against the Christians that are suffering under her policies because she gave room for ISIS to grow in Iraq, in Syria, and in Libya. I've got to take a break. What was the third thing I said I needed to talk about? There was 3 things. You're supposed to be helping me here, Billy Bob. We got the church thing that happened. Oh, the media, the hypocrisy of the media. Let me take a break. When we come back, we'll do the Zoloft, and then I'll spend the last minute or two. I've gone over on my time. We'll spend the last minute or two talking about the inherent hypocrisy and the despicable nature of the media. That's what we could call them. Despicable me. Dia. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. So after this incident happened with my wife and me, with this woman, my wife goes and talks to the priest and said, why did you let her wear that t-shirt at the altar? Well, no, my wife said, no, you could tell her turn it inside out. You could tell her put an alb on. Well, I can't really do it. What, if she showed up naked, could you tell her, no, you can't serve at the altar naked? Well, of course. Well, then you have the authority. You want us to wear 6 Trump t-shirts next week? No, don't do that. So, no, we are not going to wear Trump t-shirts to the altar. Now, I might wear a t-shirt that says, it is a sin against God to vote for Hillary. We're still talking about that one. Let's have some comic relief here with this man I've never seen before today, but this is great. I thought, let's give him some airtime. He has a little program, a big program called the Zoloft. Hope you enjoy it.
Man, get up here in the Zoloft and get your head right.
Oh, hey, what's up? Welcome to the Zoloft. All right, man, let's get into this thing so I can get it over with. Watching debates, man, bores the corn out of me. Hillary is also planning on killing the economy with the continued notion that you should be paid according to how many kids you have. Y'all, a job is supposed to pay an employee according to how productive they are, not how reproductive they are. Hillary is talking about the wealthy paying their fair share. Well, the way they do that, Hillary, is to be able to sustain their ability to give jobs. You want your fair share of what the wealthy have? Work for them. And the less the government intrudes on the job creator, the more businesses can share with the people who work for them. Hillary's plan to grow the economy is the same plan and worse that's got people miserable in the economy now. And then Hillary goes on to take a cheap shot at Trump about his daddy being rich. So, does that mean that Chelsea is fair game for cheap shots because her parents are rich? Second, it does say a lot that Trump did a lot with the money that was given to him, because you can give a lot of money to a lot of people and they won't know what to do with it. Kids are getting loans for college and don't even know what to do with it, even after attending school to learn a skill that will help them grow their income. They don't even know what to do with the resources given to them. Now, moving on to race. Hillary continues on with this nonsense about the gun epidemic being the problem. No, Hillary, it's hardly the problem. Look here, when you have black people who are the leading population of people who decrease their own population through abortion, you can't blame guns for that. Too much of the black community doesn't have a gun problem. Too much of the black community has a spiritual problem. They have been inflicted with an ideological problem, and they are addicted to a Democrat problem. Hillary's idea is backwards and it leads to oppression and murder. Hillary thinks that gun control is more important than self-control. Hillary believes that state control is more important than self-control. Self-control isn't encouraged because it doesn't couple well with pandering. Hillary and Democrats in general have to have something to blame so that their voters don't feel like they're being held responsible and don't have to assume any responsibility for anything and can have the false sense of happiness to say that it was somebody or something else's fault. That's what Hillary does, and it rots the village. She had the nerve to try to lean on something about Trump saying pregnancy is an inconvenience. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton herself is an avid supporter of so-called abortion rights. And why do these people have their children aborted? Because they are an inconvenience to them. And killing the little inconvenient kid is a choice and an industry that Hillary supports while trying to use that as a negative against Trump. And after all that stuff at the end, in an effort to sign off diplomatically, Trump said he would absolutely support Hillary if she wins. Dude, why would you support the efforts of bad policy? I think Trump could have worded that better. I know. A lot of y'all right now are saying he could word a lot of things better. Hey, not everybody can be good with words, like me.
All right. It was a 9-minute segment. Look him up online. Good job, sir. It was my pleasure to put you on TV. I will be right back. We're going to talk about Despicable Me, Dia. I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you and, yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself. If you are interested in having an impact on this election cycle through volunteer man hours, then stay in touch with us. Go to the website, contact us. What we're talking about is trying to put together some teams, we're still in the prayer and planning stage, to impact Ohio, Florida, Pennsylvania, swing states. If I put together 20 people and do massive literature drops at churches on Saturday night and Sunday, it's not a help here in Tennessee or here in Kentucky or here in Texas, because here in Texas, we are going to win. Trump's going to win. Hillary's going to lose. But we want to have an impact here in Florida, where some of you are watching us, or here in North Carolina, where some of you are watching us, or here in Ohio and Pennsylvania that are still swing states. If you're interested, let me know. All right. Despicable Media. I don't have enough time to develop this the way I wanted to, but let me explain this to you in bumper sticker fashion. Most of the major media are hypocrites and they are activists. They are players. Think of the sins of omission. Think of the sins of silence. Think of what they are not covering. Now you think about Hillary's health, okay? Just that one thing. The media scoffed and denied that there was any problem. And then finally, Hillary admits that she had pneumonia, but then there's other issues with her eyes. Where's the major press covering this? Where's the major press covering Hillary's scandalous behavior regarding Bill's infidelities? These women that have come forward talking about him assaulting them, Hillary dares to say that women should be listened to. And yet she's gone out of her way to hurt women. Hillary has gone out of her way to say that she wants more dead babies. The hypocrisy that the Zoloft man talked about. You say that Trump says it's an inconvenience. No, you're the one who says it's an inconvenience. But the major media never covers these things or talks about these things. Why? Because they are activists. Because they want Hillary to win, and they're using the power that they have at their disposal through the media to manipulate people's minds. That is hypocrisy. It is despicable behavior at the highest order. It's like Joseph Goebbels' propaganda for the Nazis in World War II.